So I put my clothes away. And now she says we have to clean the kitchen. No way. I'm just not doing it. I am not doing any of those dishes. I'm just gonna quit. And I don't know what to. Oh, and here she said, all this time she said we were gonna bake cookies. But we haven't baked cookies yet. We haven't even begun to bake cookies yet. We haven't gotten out the pan. We haven't gotten out the ingredients. We haven't done anything except clean my room and all the other work that she asked me to do. Why, oh, that's right, we even had to go work in the garden today. I tell you what, I'm just not doing another thing until I get what I want. I want to bake cookies. Huh. Miss Summit! I'm ready! I want to bake cookies! Miss Summit!
What is it? I heard you yelling.
Yes, well, I've thought about it, and I cleaned my room just like you told me to.
Yes, you did, Lola. That was great. I'm really proud of you for cleaning your room. You picked up all your toys.
Mm-hmm. And then you said I needed to clean up my clothes, and I put them all away.
That's right. And you even folded them and put them in your drawer.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did, didn't I? Well, and then we went out and worked in the garden.
You're right, Lola. We did. We worked on the zucchinis and checked to see if they were blooming and if there were any caterpillars eating the leaves.
Yes, well, there wasn't, and they were just fine. And you told me this morning that we were going to bake cookies. You said we were going to bake chocolate chip cookies, and we just had to do a few things first. And I've done a few things, but now you say we have to wash the dishes before we can bake cookies. And I'm tired of it. I'm not going to wait any longer. I just quit. I don't even care anymore. I'm just going to go eat the chocolate chips before we make them into cookies, and I'm just not waiting anymore. So, that's that.
Well, Lola, it sounds to me like maybe you need to learn about one of our special character words.
A character word?
Yes, I think patience is the word that you need to hear about. And maybe a story about patience would help you understand, and maybe it would give you some patience too. What do you think?
Well, I think it'll just be long before I get my chocolate chip cookies, but I do like a good story. Okay, Miss Summit, let's hear the story about patience.
Well, do you know what patience is?
Oh yes, patience means to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait.
Well, that's true. Patience does mean waiting, but it's even a little bit more than that. Patience means waiting with a good attitude.
Oh, so you mean all this morning while I was waiting, that wasn't completely patience because I had a bad attitude?
Yeah, because you keep wanting to bake the cookies and you're whining about it, and then remember how you were even yelling at me about it, and that's not really patience because you didn't have a good attitude to go with it.
Well, it's just too hard to have a good attitude when I have to wait all day long when you said we were going to bake cookies, and I want some chocolate chip cookies.
Well, let me tell you a story about a man named George Washington Carver. You see, when George Washington Carver was a kid, he went to school just like you do.
Oh, school takes way too long. It takes all day long.
Well, George Washington Carver didn't just go to school like you. He helped a lady who her job was to do people's laundry. They would bring her laundry and they would pay her, and she would do all their laundry, and he would start the day out helping her, and then he would go to school and learn. And then when he was finished learning in school, he would come back to this lady whose name was Aunt Mariah, and he'd sit there while Aunt Mariah worked, and he'd prop the book up, and he'd start to read to her, and he'd read to her while she worked, and he'd help around, and he'd help her fold the clothes and finish the laundry up, because he didn't quit, because he knew Aunt Mariah needed his help. And one day Aunt Mariah said, "Well, George Washington Carver," she said, "are you liking your school? Are you learning anything?" And he said, "Well, I'm learning how to read and write, but they won't answer my questions. I have so many questions, and the teacher won't answer them for me." She said, "Well, George, it's good to have questions. You just keep learning, and maybe you'll find the answer to them. So George Washington didn't quit. He didn't get the answers he wanted, but he kept studying and he kept learning. You see, he had patience to wait for the answers he was looking for. Not only did he have patience, but he had a good attitude and kept working while he waited. Well, one day he went to visit his aunt and his uncle because he had some exciting news. You see, George Washington Carver had just been accepted into college. He wanted to go to college so badly because there were so many things to learn, and maybe he could find the answers to all of his questions. So he was so excited. He set off for college, and he got to the college, and he walked in the door, and they said, how can we help you? He said, well, I'm George Carver, and I'm here to enroll in college. I have the acceptance letter here in my hand. And they looked at him, and they said, I'm sorry, but you can't come to college here. Oh, no! He'd waited so long to go to college. Oh, poor George. Oh, that's so sad, Miss Simon. It was sad. But here's the saddest part. He said, well, why? I had the piece of paper saying right here that I get to come to college. And they said, well, we didn't know you were black when we got that letter. They said, we don't take any black people. This is college for only white people. Oh, Miss Summit, I've never heard of such a thing. Oh, my goodness. Oh, how could they do that? Yeah, it wasn't very nice, and it wasn't very fair back then. But back then, they did have schools that were only for white people, and then some other schools that were only for black people. But there weren't very many colleges for black people. And so this was the college he could get into, but he didn't realize he had to be white. Those rules have changed now, but that's not how it was when George Washington Carver tried to go to school. But what do you think he did?
Well, I know I would quit, and I would throw a fit, and I would probably be mad. But I bet George Washington Carver didn't. I bet he had patience.
You're absolutely right, Lola. He had patience, and he kept learning, and he kept studying, and he kept working. And one day, a man called him up and said, hey, I teach a school for black people to learn, just like at college. He said, will you come and will you be a teacher for us? And will you help me help these men grow and become smarter and equipped to do the jobs that they want to do and to learn everything they want to learn? And George Washington Carver said, yes, I think I will. And the guy said, but it's not going to be an easy job. It's going to be hard work. And George said, I understand that, but I think I'd like to try. He said, you see, failure's not in the circumstances we find ourselves in. Failure is when we quit trying. And he said, I want to try, and I want to give it my best. And that's exactly what he did. He went to be a teacher at that school, and he worked for many, many years. And he taught many, many people and did some fantastic things that we still use today. All because he didn't give up, and all because he kept trying with a good attitude. He didn't get impatient and give up. He kept going and kept waiting patiently with a good attitude.
Well, I guess George Washington Carver worked harder than I have today. And I guess if he can wait for what he really wants, I can wait too. It's not going to be easy to wait for chocolate chip cookies, but, well, let's go ahead and get started on the dishes. And maybe we can make the chocolate chip cookies after that.
All right. Well, would you like to tell the boys and girls goodbye before we go start working on the dishes?
Goodbye, boys and girls. And remember today to have patience. No matter what your mom or your dad or your aunt and uncle ask you to do, you have to have patience. And it has to be with a good attitude. So keep working hard and keep having patience. Because in the end, you can achieve what you want, just like George Washington Carver. Goodbye.